Whew, what a wild day that was. So, of course, the Eastern Conference Final reached Game 3. The scenes shifted to sunrise. The game was played early in the day, 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon for those in the East Coast, noon here in the West Coast. It was a wild game. Already, the first period had more goals than either Game 1 or 2 combined, and which had 3 each, and it was just an amazing back and forth game, of course, which was marred by the Jacob Trouba elbow. Of course, he's known for that. Which only got 2 minutes. Well, it was called for two different penalties, 2 minutes each, but the court of public opinion says it should have been a match penalty. Of course, like I said, Trouba's it's crazy. It's crazy. I didn't know Trouba was that dirty until he was out of Winnipeg. But it's crazy. Um, so yeah, Florida had a 4 minute power play, and the Rangers scored on it. It was 4-2 entering the third period. Then the Panthers came back and tied up the third part, and it was Alex Wenberg, another ex-Jet, who won it for the Rangers. So the Rangers now take the series lead, 2-1 series lead. They're in the driver's seat now, and they just took Florida's home ice advantage away from them because they stole one in Sunrise. That means Florida's going to have to win at home just to break even, while the Rangers have a chance to really put the really force some pressure onto the Panthers, because another win will give them the right to clinch that Prince of Wales trophy on their home ice. So yeah, it was a wild game. 9 goals scored, some high scoring. Finally, because it had been a goalie battle pretty much the first 2 games. But ironically, Florida's one win was a shutout win. Igor doesn't have a shutout in this series, but it's 2-1 Rangers. That's good. Rangers are in the driver's seat, and it's wild. It's pretty wild. So that's what happened in the Eastern Conference Final. That is my recap of the Eastern Conference Final, but I'm not done yet because I have to talk about this. Oh man, that was a wild game in the PWHL. I have to talk about this. So today was Game 4 in the PWHL in the finals. Boston, Minnesota. In Minnesota, the Minnesota team had the chance to wrap it up on home ice. This was their chance, because that state hadn't won. That state hadn't won a pro hockey championship. Had never won a pro hockey championship. This was their chance, and it was wild. It had everything but scoring. Nothing in the first, nothing the first, nothing the second, nothing the third. Game went to overtime scoreless, and as an Avs fan, it kind of took me back because that's how we won the first cup. Scoreless throughout. Was it 5 periods? Then in the 6th period, we finally get one, and that completes the sweep. But yeah, and I was watching, and I was hoping Minnesota would finish it because I wanted to see that trophy awarded. I wanted to see the first one crowned. And I think they had a few shots. Both teams had some good shots, but nothing came of it. So double overtime was needed, and it looked like we would get a third overtime. I was looking up. I was going back on the site, on the PWHL site, and looking up the past games. They've only so far this inaugural season. There's only been one triple overtime game, and that went. I think the 6th period was past the halfway point. So I was thinking this could be the longest game in the short history. But funny thing happened. Minnesota scored. I go. That's it. There it is. Then there was a review. I go, ooh, and then I see it was going. Well, I kind of saw it when it happened. It was goalie interference. Aaron Franco, who was Boston's goalie, was pushed, and the player wasn't pushing to the goalie, so it was clearly goal interference. And the thing was, Minnesota's team, they had their helmets off celebrating. And I went, oh my god! If they call this back, if they overturn this, they're gonna put their stuff on and continue playing. And that's exactly what happened because it was clear goal interference. The overturned call was right. No goal, GI, which already makes that league better than the NHL. Because if this was the NHL, they would still say goal counts because their refs want to get out, want to go home. No, 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 no. So they overturned it. The goal doesn't count, and you could hear there's a collected sound of a whole bunch of Minnesota people from Minnesota just like, oh. Something told me Boston was going to win after that. That's what happened. Just over a minute later into the game, Alina Mueller puts it in. Her second goal in as many games. She had the one goal for Boston in Game 3. So Mueller puts it in, and all of a sudden we have a Game 5. Now, it's a best of 5. So this is going to be the deciding game. So the deciding Game 5, a champion's going to be crowned on Wednesday in the pro women's professional women's hockey league. It's going to be epic, but that's Wednesday. That was a crazy Game 4. But again, Game 5 of that series is Wednesday, but that's Wednesday. Tomorrow, in the NHL, it's Game 3 of the Western Conference Final. The scene shifts across the border to Edmonton for Game 3, and it's 1-1 in the West. It's 1-1 in the West. And, of course, Game 4 of the East is Tuesday. So that's my recap of Game 3 of the East Conference Final, along with a little bit about what happened in the PWHL Wild game. So if you like this video, click the like button. If you're on YouTube, click subscribe if you want more. If you're on TikTok, feel free to hit that follow button. And I'll be back tomorrow to recap Game 3 in the West. So stay tuned.